tried to get a meeting with Miss Ashley Wright. The scheduled meeting, they finally arrived. And at the last minute, she tried to cancel. My brother Jerry did not let her off that easy. He explained to her secretary that our attorney had driven all the way from Atlanta to be here for the meeting, and rescheduling was not an option. She did agree to see us. At the meeting, Ms. Wright told us without any hesitation or reservation that she was leaning towards finding no fault in the actions of the officers involved in the incident. When we pointed out different aspects in the actions that we felt warranted some type of disciplinary action, her constant response was, "That's a civil matter." I asked Mrs. Wright about the officer possibly being angry and upset and using the taser as a means to get back at my brother. Her response was, "Anything is possible, but it has to be proven." Well, not too many criminals admit their guilt, but yet the prisons are full. That's why we have a court system. When I asked her about a statement made by Grover Tootin that my brother may have died anyway on that day, and she said that not being a medical doctor, she couldn't agree or disagree. So I asked her if that was the case, and on that day I shot and killed my brother, would I have been able to get away with it? Her response was, "No, you're not an officer." Excuse me. She stated to us at that time that she had not made her final decision as to whether or not to present to the grand jury. I asked her what time frame she would have to make that decision. She said that she generally likes to make these decisions within a year. That was, my brother died June 29, 2013. At this time, this was in May, which gave her less than a month to make her decision as whether or not she's going to go forward. That's whether or not she intended to go forward. When we asked her if we could get a transcript of the proceeding if and when she presented to the grand jury, she said yes. Yet when the grand jury met, we, the family, were not even made aware of this until after the decision was made not to indict, and we only heard of it through the media. About a week after we learned of the decision, my brother Jerry, his wife Cheryl, and I went back to the DA's office to ask for a transcript of the grand jury proceeding. We were told at that time by DA Wright that there was no transcript because there was no recorder for state cases. This shocked me for many reasons. The main one being that DA Wright should have known this information at the time that she told us we could get a transcript. She is the DA. Wouldn't she of all people have known this information before she told us that we couldn't get a transcript? She said, excuse me. I didn't know if this information was true, so I did some searching of my own. I did find out that at one time there was no mandatory recording necessary for proceedings. But then back in 1979, there was a bill that passed where court proceedings were mandatory. However, Georgia was one of those states that had not yielded to that mandatory rule yet. So you can record a proceeding, you could not. But by it being a grand jury proceeding, I would think that it would be recorded, especially since she had told us, the family, that we could get a recording. If I go to traffic court, there's going to be a recording, so why not a recording of grand jury proceeding? When we asked her who were the witnesses that testified during the grand jury trial, she told us the witnesses were comprised of the officers involved and statements from the grand jury, from the GBI. When we asked her, did she speak to any other witnesses, such as George's fiance, who was there at the time, or our other brother who was also at the scene, her response was that she read the statements of the GBI and felt like she didn't need to speak to anybody personally. I feel that Ms. Wright had already made up her mind not to prosecute, and when Jerry encouraged her to turn over to the grand jury, she gave them what she wanted them to see to make the case turn out in her favor. That is why we are here today to ask what our options are as far as having another DA to look over the evidence of this case for possible prosecution of the officers involved. Though we can all agree that, even our family, that neither Officer Sanders or Officer Presbyterian intended for my brother to die that day. However, there was a certain amount of possibility that it may have become present because my brother was being belligerent to the officers.